Sizing up Murphy, drives, floats, hangs, and scores on the turnaround. J-Dub way behind the three-point line and hits way behind the three-point line. Got blocked. What a rejection by Holmgren. Standing tall like a wall.
This is Dart. You're listening to the Uncontested.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Uncontested Postgame Show, part of the Blue Wire Podcast Network and proudly sponsored by Prairie Artisan Ales. I'm your host on this Monday evening, JD Silva, joined by some fellows. From left to right, we got Justin Peabody, not Peterson.
Hello, everybody.
We got Taylor Peterson.
Kansas City Chiefs. Never heard of her. Thunder up.
We got Nick Crane coming from his new beautiful home.
I am definitely really in this home right now. We did have a couple of texts from listeners asking for some Chiefs propaganda, so I'm glad Taylor was the one that got to get it out there and I didn't have to do it.
Yes. Love and support to you, Taylor.
What is that mic, Nick?
Well, Taylor,
did you order it? Did you just order that?
It's from Team
and have your other one in storage right now?
No, so this is a microphone that I've had for a while now, and it's made for travel. Maybe I'll put some images on the Uncontested, and it's very small. Like it folds into the size of a wallet, and it's very durable, and you can just throw it in a backpack. No need to put it in a case. And I finally found a reason because I'm in this beautiful living room that doesn't have a podcast set up yet.
Hopefully no one falls through the roof of that living room while you're...
Hey, now. I don't need that bad.
Too close to home.
The mic sounds good, Nick.
Yeah,
well,
great.
There.
It also has a camera on it. I'm not using the camera, but it does have a camera.
Are you filming us right now?
That's awesome.
Blair Witch Project.
Start up a second YouTube stream, and it's just like Nick Cam.
Third point of view of me watching the stream while
it's
I'm
like
on the
Manning Cast, but for the Uncontested.
That would be very.
I love it.
We could tell you're actually just watching the Lakers game instead of saying it's us. Fellas, we did not have our usual Sunday show because the Super Bowl was on, so we're gonna let
Taylor break down the Chiefs' performance in the Super Bowl for the next hour.
Oh, I'm ready.
Yes, Taylor, take it away. No, just kidding. We have a Memphis blowout to talk about. We have another blowout tonight against the Pelicans to talk about. It'll be a lot of fun. Before we get dug in, be sure to subscribe to us wherever you get your podcast. Leave us a 5-star rating if you haven't done so already. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, etc. You can also check out our Patreon by clicking the link in the description of this episode or by scanning this here QR code above my head if you're watching the live stream. You can hang out in our Discord, talk about basketball and other things. You can also get some extra content through the Patreon. We have an episode coming up. We need to determine an exact date for that. But yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. All right, boys. It's time to dig in. We can probably focus more on the Pelicans game, but the Thunder did, spank Memphis on the bottom and shove them in a locker on Saturday.
Oh, my.
Did enjoy that.
Don't tempt Ja with a good time.
But I think we can kind of lump these games together and talk about the Thunder being total ass kickers here recently. They have some tweets. Taylor got one of your noted tweets. The Thunder have scored 100+ through 3 quarters in 5 of the last 6 games. The Thunder are 6-0 in February with an average margin of victory of 25.8 points. That's from Joe Moscato.
It's insane.
They now have the best net rating in NBA history, surpassing the 95-96 Bulls, 13.5.
I think that team was pretty good. weren't
That
they?
team was pretty good. They tonight broke the Thunder's own 3-point records. What did they make? 27 threes?
27. That's insane. Without Isaiah Joe.
Without Isaiah Joe.
Without Isaiah Joe. It is ridiculous. And some of that coincides with their second best player, one of their 3 best players coming back, in Chet Holmgren. But I want to start, Justin. Some big takeaways from you in this recent stretch. These last 2 games, the vibes are at feels like all-time high. What's going on?
I do want to talk about Chet. He only played in one of these 2 games that we're discussing, but got to watch him play against Toronto in his first game back, getting to see him play tonight. It's just fun watching Chet Holmgren play basketball, man. Like, he's not lighting it up on the offensive end, but his impact already on the defensive end is so special. You could see it from one of the first possessions in that Raptors game. The Raptors had 3 or 4 chances where they probably would have attempted a pretty clean layup had Chet Holmgren not been looming. And just the fact that he hadn't even blocked anybody yet in that game, but his presence on the floor was already in the heads of the Raptors players. What did he have? I think 4 blocks in that game. He had 5 blocks tonight.
Yep.
That's insane. Like, that's Wemby level numbers, right? Like, we joked about it when we were doing our bets recap podcast of like what he would have to do coming back. He was averaging like 2.6 a game in his admittedly small sample size before he got hurt, but like, he is not missing a beat when it comes to the defensive end of the floor right now. And that is, and should be, terrifying for the rest of the league. With as good as Oklahoma City has been defensively, with him sitting on the bench in street clothes, he brings just another element to this team that should unlock everybody to reach another gear, which is scary.
9 blocks in 46 minutes, Justin.
That seems good.
Insane.
Yeah.
That's insane.
That's nuts.
Averaging like a block tonight. He averaged like 1 block every 5 minutes. I'm no mathematician, but that's pretty damn good.
He's been awesome, man. And it looks like he's not timid. He does look a little gassed, which is to be expected, but he doesn't look timid, right? Sometimes guys coming back off an injury, like they look scared. And he made a comment about that after the Raptors game. Like, if I ever get to a point where I'm scared to make a move, then I just shouldn't be playing. And that mentality from Chet is not surprising, but awesome to see coming back from the injury he had.
And Mark mentioned something post-game about that as well, just saying that, that's the kind of player he is and always has been since he started playing at a competitive level. He's never one to not give 110%, to the point. Again, little plug for our Discord. Be sure to join our Patreon and get access to the Discord. We're having a ton of fun during games. But when he dove for that loose ball there in the third quarter and landed pretty hard again on one of his hips. I'm not sure if it was the same hip, but a lot of people in the Discord were just like, no, Chet, stay on your feet. Don't do it. But that's not who Chet is. And I love that so much about him. I mean,
the comment from David Skelton in the chat, I think, is an interesting one that we probably should spend at least like a minute on. The Hartenstein, Chet minutes together, and then will we see them stagger more? My opinion on the matter is we're definitely seeing more of them together now because we already have a pretty significant amount of data on what they look like without each other, with the rest of the roster.
That's a good point.
Floor. I think that they're intentionally packing the minutes together now to see what it looks like. If it looks great, they'll probably keep doing it. If it doesn't look great, they'll make the tweaks. But I think it's a good point, David. It's a lot of it, and they probably do get in each other's way. Not only are they collecting data, they're trying to figure out how not to be in each other's ways because neither has played with that type of player for a ton of minutes, at least in their NBA career.
I'm glad you brought that up because I have a couple thoughts there. You bring up a really good point, Nick, and that, we saw Chet without iHeart for a full season last year. Literally, he played every single game. And then we obviously have gotten a pretty big stretch here without Chet on only iHeart when Chet was injured. But I did find it very interesting. In the third quarter, the main starters that we thought were going to start once Chet was announced to come back, iHeart, Chet, we haven't mentioned this yet, J-Dub, Dort, and Shea, they played all the way until the 4-minute mark in the third quarter. And I think that just shows you, to your point, that Mark and his coaching staff and this organization really want to get those data points and want these guys to get some reps together. Also, we saw Chet play alongside J. Will in the power forward, if you want to call it that position, not the only big, right? We didn't see much of any of Chet as the sole big. They were bringing J. Will in when iHeart sat. And so I think you're definitely onto something there. Certainly trying to incorporate the double big lineups and get Chet more acclimated. But that third quarter stretch there, I think, is really what kind of drove that home for me when we saw the starters play all the way until the 4-minute mark in the third.
Chet being free to be like that roamer on defense and also having his like quick closeout ability is just so devastating. Like Justin, you mentioned it earlier. I forgot how much fun it was to watch Chet play basketball. Chet is probably my favorite player to watch on the Thunder just because of the blocks. It feels like he's going to block every shot that comes his way. I know that's not what happens, but it just feels like nothing's off the table for that guy on offense or defense, honestly.
And before Chet, it feels like the Thunder haven't had a player like that in quite some time. And I think that's what makes it fun, is such a new dynamic that you're not, you're used to seeing J. Will slide over and take a charge. You're not used to seeing Chet stonewall somebody at the rim. It's a blast. And
I was going to say, they're also exciting. They're like such exciting blocks.
Yeah.
Not to mention, like, the reason that all this works is the Thunder's point of attack defense is elite. And it's a big reason it's elite, on top of the fact that they have really good perimeter defenders, is the fact that these guys know that they can cheat at times and they can overplay at times. They can be aggressive at times, because if you do happen to get blown by, they have an elite rim protector behind them. I think that the reverse is true too, that when someone attacks the rim, gets by the defender, Chet and Hartenstein and others are comfortable selling out to contest and block, because with a lot of teams, if you do that, you risk like a kick out and you may have to like play, kind of drop defense but these guys can go straight at blocking shots, because the help side defense and the rotations are so crisp that it's like this perfect balance where the point of attack is great, the rim protection is great, but then also like the team defense and rotation is great. So all these guys can just do whatever the heck they want and just go all out, and their strengths are amplified because of it.
Yeah, I'm still shocked. Like every block he gets, I'm like, how the hell did he do that? It's like I grew up watching Kevin Durant, like anything is possible on offense with this guy out there. Then Chet's like the total opposite. Like anything can happen on defense on a given play, and it's always awesome. Like the same block he got hurt on, he's already attempted that same block like 5 times, and he has just no fear at all. It's a total blast. And you can kind of see, I brought this up really early in his first game back. Who did he come back against? The Raptors?
Mm-hmm.
Where it looks like the guys around him, their lives, the weight on their shoulders just a little lighter. Like J-Dub not having to guard a size up. Like it's a cascading effect having a guy as talented as Chet out there. And God, it just gets me so hyped for the playoffs.
But I love what Nick mentioned, that it allows these other players to essentially just take more gambles. Like I think of that play, I think it was early in the fourth quarter, where Aaron Wiggins, who was incredible, we'll get into him, but he had a turnover. Alex Caruso hustles back immediately, like intercepts the pass, gets another steal, and then, they're off for another fast break point to Kenrich Williams. And it allows these point of attack defenders to play so much more aggressively at the point of attack. And maybe that play wasn't the best example because it was in transition, but just having Chet and iHeart back there together. Yeah. We mentioned the free safety role that Chet can play in, that allows him to be able to go and roam and get some of those blocks, but also the point of attack defenders. So it allows them to play so much more freely.
That's a great point. When I mentioned earlier that like having Chet can unlock another level, if you're Alex Caruso on the perimeter, you can sell out differently if you have Chet back there as a safety valve, versus if you don't have any kind of rim protection, you might not be able to play out at the perimeter as aggressively. And I think Caruso had a couple steals tonight that were insane.
Yep.
I think you're already starting to see a little bit of that, even though it's only been 2 games for Chet so far.
Kind of interesting. I know we need to move on from Chet, but just looking at the box score, I found this interesting. According to my app, and sometimes it's off, but Chet played 3 more minutes than iHeart tonight. So we're seeing him get more and more minutes here in only his second game.
It's been nice. The starters just keep getting to sit fourth quarters. Like that just keeps happening. And we can kind of, part of that is because guys around the quote unquote big three have been overperforming and have been insane. If I were to tell you this game log in points for the last 6 games, this sounds like SGA. This sounds like J-Dub. This 24 points, 26 points, 18, 17, 13, and 41. That is not J-Dub. That is Aaron Wiggins.
He's averaging 24 points over his last 6. That's absolutely insane. He was 24 points, 3 steals from Wiggins tonight, 2 rebounds, 9 of 13 shooting, 4 of 7 from 3.
It's unbelievable. He looks so confident out there right now too. Like you can tell he's feeling it. What was the quote, Taylor? You said it right before we went live from Daignault about Wiggins. Like, yeah, he's cooking right now.
Yeah. He said that's literally. He said, yeah, he's cooking right now. But in typical Daignault fashion, he followed that up and wanted to make a point that not only has his offense been so good recently, but his defense has really improved. Of course, it's been more locked in as well. And he didn't want that to get overshadowed by the offense, which I think is a fair point. He has been better defensively.
And what I think is interesting about Wiggins, obviously, it's a bit unsustainable. Like none of us on the show expect Wiggins to do this forever, but
I do, Nick.
Like he coming into tonight, he was at 543 points on the season in 1,119 minutes. Okay. Last season he was at 542 points, so 1 point less in roughly 120 more minutes. So like a handful of games of game time based on what he's playing today. So obviously he's doing it more consistently recently, but like on a per minute basis and on a field goal percentage basis, he's actually less efficient from 2, from 3. All that to say, I don't expect him to do this long term, but what he's doing as a scorer on a per minute basis is not absurd. When you look back at last season, when he showed some of these flashes in smaller spurts, we're just like seeing it in bigger chunks more recently.
You transitioned this perfectly to one of my biggest overall thoughts of Wiggins' recent performance, Nick. And the reason maybe he's not quite as efficient, but is doing more with the opportunities because we've seen all these injuries. Kaysen's been out. Isaiah Joe was out tonight. Luka Dončić's been out the past couple of games with back spasms before returning. It's kind of a revolving door of these smaller injuries as the Thunder try and get these guys healthy heading into the All-Star break and after the All-Star break. But within that, it's not just the scoring that stood out to me the most. Honestly, it's his initiating. He's essentially, we talked about, do the Thunder need to go and trade for a primary creator, initiator for that second unit when Shea sits at the deadline and after the deadline, coincidentally enough, but it's been Aaron Wiggins who's really stepped up in that role and has looked fantastic doing it, creating for teammates, driving to the rim, creating his own shot. He's done a great job at getting some point guard reps, which I find really, really interesting. And so something else that'll be interesting is watching how that will continue and how Mark and the team balances that when guys like Kaysen and some of these other players get back and the team's fully healthy.
Yeah, I don't know how sustainable because there's a lot of role players playing very well right now. Like Alex Caruso has kind of logged on and he's making shots. And on top of the defense he plays at, it's absurd. Like how impactful that guy can be. Kenrich has been awesome. It's like whenever a role player gets hurt, the guys around him just level up and get better. So I don't know how sustainable this is. Like it can't be possible that every role player is awesome on this team, right? Like that can't be possible.
You see the Dallas Mavericks last year?
It's a good point.
Yeah, it is a good point.
I don't have a comment on what you just said other than I think it's funny that you said Caruso kind of logs on. Like that's the most work from home employee thing you could have ever said. He just logs on and gets his work done.
Yeah.
He decided
blue collar
to log on today.
Chop wood, carry water.
Wiggins has been amazing, and I don't want to overlook him, but I think Taylor, you and Nick summed it up really well. He's been on a heater. He's been super impactful. He's probably not going to do that every game, but I think it shows his potential. He's on a very short list of Thunder players who've dropped 40 points. That's not nothing, and that will be valuable come playoff time. Alex Caruso hitting 3-pointers on a somewhat more consistent Alex Caruso basis. You don't need him to be a deadeye, but just not being terrible from behind the arc, which he's been for most of this season. Again, kind of unlocks something for this team. If you can play him and not have him be an offensive negative, right? The Thunder have so many guys like that in the past with Andre Robertson or Thabo Sefolosha, where he's only on the floor for one reason. Lou Dort early in his career had a little bit of that, but the work that he put in offensively has totally changed his game. If Alex Caruso can hit threes consistently like that, it makes the opposing defenses have to play him so much more honestly, and then he can just turn around and wreak havoc on the other end of the floor. It makes him such a dangerous piece, and that's what he was for the Bulls last season. So it's exciting to see him. Like, it's not a fluke. Do you need him to shoot 4 of 7 every night? No, probably not. But somewhere in that range, which is, again, like where he was with Chicago, that's real and could be attainable and could be something that becomes very huge come playoff time.
We've talked about this on this podcast this season a handful of times, but when you talk about the mean, the average, there's so much talk about regression to the mean, but there's also progression to the mean. That's what we're seeing with Caruso. Justin, I went ahead and pulled this up before the pod because I wanted to bring it up. Alex Caruso in his last 10 games, so essentially since the beginning of the new year, shooting 38.2% from 3 on 4.3 attempts. I love seeing that number as well. Tonight, what was he? 5 of 6?
4 of 7.
4 of 7.
Yeah. 38% is stellar. Like, that is phenomenal, especially compared to he was shooting in the 20s before that. It's awesome. Huge impact to this team.
Sound like you were getting choked up there thinking about this.
Alex Caruso's bringing a tear to my eye.
Same.
Yeah, the Thunder just been tearing it up lately. Like, and against Memphis, they didn't even have Chet and just completely out-muscled them.
Didn't have Chet and Shea, like, not a great game?
No.
And you still curb stomped a fully healthy Memphis in Memphis.
Killed him. Aaron Wiggins, 26, J-Dub, 26 in that game. I obviously had a really good time clowning Chris Vernon because his Vegas tweet was like, the Thunder are soft. And the whole game, the Thunder were just completely bullying the Grizzlies. Bullying.
I would love to see your bookmarks folder sometime.
Oh man, I bet it's incredible.
It's a hellscape. It is bad.
That is a good transition, though, to something else I wanted to mention, Silva.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked so much already about Chet coming back. But and I understand that Chet didn't play Saturday on the second night of a back-to-back, but it seems like that's really freed up and opened so much more for J-Dub, like we all kind of anticipated. Tonight, you mentioned I went ahead and went back to Saturday's box score, but quickly. Dub only had 16 points, but he had 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 6 of 11 from the floor, 3 of 4 from 3 was huge, and had 2 steals. Just pretty incredible game there from Dub. I think him being more in a natural position of like a true wing, a 3, rather than having to play small ball center sometimes on either end of the floor. And I just think it's opened up so much more for him. We're seeing him play with a lot more confidence, not to mention him driving to the rim more and finally getting foul calls.
Getting the call. He joked about that I think it was after the Raptors game. Maybe it was Memphis when he was like, I even got to play the 3 a little bit. Like, what a novel concept.
Wild.
I think that's a great point, Taylor, that Dub playing in a more, like, he can play 1 through 5. He's been asked to do it for this team, but playing in a more natural position, again, just could be another unlock for this team of like something that we haven't had or haven't seen out of Oklahoma City up to this point that could find another dimension for Dub, could allow him when he's matched up in the 3 spot to not have to like kill his body on the defensive end of the floor trying to guard centers or power forwards that are much bigger and stronger than him, which could unlock his offensive end, right? If you're not expending as much on the defensive end, then you can go to work easier on the offensive end. Like, it all ties together. And I think that's, again, like, just super exciting to think about, like, where that could take this team.
It's a really good point. It's something I probably have not thought of enough this season when J-Dub's still been awesome. Like, he's an all-star, pretty good for a third-year player.
Pretty good.
His efficiency is down, and we've all kind of made note of that. I just haven't talked about the fact that he's having to fill a role he doesn't usually fill. Like he's not in the most ideal spot to succeed. Like he's having to do everything for the team on defense and still be that same guy on offense. And that's hard for anyone to do.
Also, shout out to the guys. They showed them on the broadcast. The guys who got the Michelob Ultra courtside experience tonight, rocking the Dub All-Star shirt from our shop. It's pretty rad.
Friends of Nick too.
Great timing. Shirt came in the mail this morning. Got a text, and they were hyping up the shirt. And then, what do you know? They get a Michelob Ultra courtside experience. Maybe there's something happening there. Maybe these shirts are good luck.
I'm not saying that if you buy a shirt from our Cotton Bureau store that you will also get a courtside experience, but I'm not saying that either.
Hey, sources tell us that they were approached by none other than JoJo, asking where they got the shirt. So.
Yeah, that's dope.
That is cool.
Speaking of Dub defense, I know only some of you guys in this podcast are bettors, Taylor. Have you guys checked in on the Defensive Player of the Year odds of late?
Hell no.
Because if not, I'll enlighten you.
I only get on the prize bit.
How far is it? Is Wemby at negative odds yet, or is he still like plus 200?
Oh, he's like minus 2,000. Which is essentially, for those that don't know, a lock. I want you guys to guess.
Spurs are 21st in defensive rating, by the way. What the hell?
Say that again?
Spurs are 21st in defensive rating, and he's still...
Oof. Yeah. How many players in the top 7 of odds play for the Thunder? We're talking Defensive Player of the Year, by the way.
I kind of want to say 4.
That seems insane.
That's aggressive. I was torn between 2 and 3, the way Nick worded that. Shea and Dub are both going to be there, I think. But I think Lou probably also has to, so I'll say 3.
Let me tell you this. Shea is 5th. And by the way, finished 9th last year. So that's not crazy for those that say Shea doesn't play defense. J-Dub is 7th. And there's a Thunder player higher than both.
Doherty.
Lou Dort is currently 4th in Defensive Player of the Year odds, behind only Victor Wembanyama, Jaren Jackson, Evan Mobley. In fact, Lou is 4th, the first guard on the list. Shea is 5th, the second guard on the list. Bam is 6th. J-Dub is 7th. So the top 3
That's crazy.
perimeter players on the Defensive Player of the Year voting odds are Thunder players.
How far do you have to go to get to another teammate? So like a second appearance of a team on that list.
Oh,
that's probably a graphic, so we'll have to go
Jaren,
and actually pull it up.
Bam, AD, Draymond, Rudy, Amen Thompson, and Dylan Brooks are in like the teens.
There you go.
Okay,
that's crazy.
That is
crazy. In terms of perimeter players, Amen Thompson and Dylan Brooks, Dyson Daniels are like late teens.
Yeah,
everyone else is bigs. Like this is,
and damn it, my prediction of 4 would have been right had Chet been healthy.
It's true.
Oh,
that's
100%.
true.
I mean, he was Depoy favorite when he went down.
Yep.
I think
what he's doing. I kind of wonder so too. Also, speaking of Shea, though, it's a really good opportunity to mention this year. Not only was tonight his 32nd game with 30-plus points, it was also his 32nd game this season with at least 1 blocked shot per Nick Gallo.
Seems good.
Pretty good. I kind of thought like Shea's gotten a lot of the defensive acclaim on Thunder for a couple years now. Like kind of like how Russ used to always like randomly show up on like owning balance and stuff. Shea's has always been more real in my opinion, but I always thought SJ was like a little overrated on that, like last year and the year before. But this year it's kind of he's properly rated. He's not having to guard the best guy, but he is so impactful
and
still.
That's what people on social media will say about like the argument for MVP. Obviously, his offensive numbers are bonkers. People like to talk about the defensive side of the ball because it matters. And everyone says, yeah, but Shea is not like this all-world point of attack defender. All he does is jump passing lanes and feast off of his teammates. And my counter argument would be, well, yeah, if you have all these other all-world defenders and your role is to do that, why would you not go be great at that?
Yeah, right. You can't hold it against him for the guys that he plays with.
No.
He's like maximizing what he can do on defense in his role on defense, I think.
Yep. And Jokic doesn't play defense.
No. Like, he's fine. He's not like a total schlub, but he's not a huge positive, obviously. That's what Aaron Gordon's for.
Right.
Our
Anything
buddies
else?
are giving Nick shit in the group text, watching him live with his background. It's pretty funny.
I think you should have a different background every show.
Yes, switch it up every time. Until you're in the new crib, which case.
Let's hope there's not many shows I have to mix up the background, Justin.
Touche.
Just because, we've talked a lot of big theme stuff. I've touched on some things in regards to the post game, but just quickly before we move on, just from a post game standpoint, Jay Will, 0 points tonight, but he had 10 boards. That stood out to me. Isaiah Hartenstein also only had 6 points, but 13 boards and continued to do his thing there. We talked about Wiggins, obviously, but Kendrick Williams tonight, 11 points, 4-4 from the floor, 3 of 3 from 3. Just great contribution. Dylan Jones, I thought he had a very solid game overall. Played a solid in his minutes, in the 17 minutes that he got, which kind of surprised me he got that much, but thought he played well enough defensively and obviously made some things happen offensively. Just a great a great performance up and down the roster for OKC tonight.
A temperature check, just a quick temperature check on everyone on Dylan Jones. How are we feeling?
About how I thought.
Not
right
everybody
now,
all
I don't know.
Feeling good about it?
I mean, look, he was a late first, early second projection that we all thought could contribute this year and has not a ton. Does that mean he's not an NBA player? No. If you entered the season thinking Dylan Jones was going to be a top 7 player on the team, then yeah, you should be reevaluated for your perception of what he's going to be. Also in the chat, someone said Nick can't stop moving. I'm standing. I don't have a chair to sit and chill. So yes, I'm moving and swaying. I'm just standing. Yes.
That's why his shoulder and part of his head keeps disappearing.
He's standing in the conversation pit.
I will say this. I think all of us thought that Dylan Jones was going to be, especially after the draft and heading into the regular season, all of us here on the podcast thought that Dylan Jones would be more impactful for this team first year than AJ Mitchell. And that certainly hasn't been the case.
Not all of us.
Disregarding the injury. But I think the biggest thing for me is just Dylan Jones is a player who's always had the ball in his hands at each level. And he's certainly had to adjust to that not being the case. We know he's a good passer and facilitator from his tape, prior to the NBA, but it hasn't been a seamless transition or fit for him. Still feels to me like this team's already so deep. We saw what the Thunder did tonight without Cason Wallace and Isaiah Joe. We've seen what they've done the past 5-6 games without at least 2 or 3 rotation players. And then you still have all these draft picks coming up. So I don't think it's a knock on Dylan to say maybe this is the right fit for him long term. He could go elsewhere and flourish and be a good NBA player. I just don't know if he's going to get the reps on this team to really be able to flourish.
I think you just have to reset what impact a rookie can make on this team. AJ is the exception, not the rule moving forward. We've gotten so used to when this team was tanking and terrible that's what you look to is all right, how are the rookies contributing and developing and what are they getting? And that's just not the world the Thunder are in anymore. And so you have to reset what a contribution from a rookie is going to look like in the first season or the first couple seasons. And it's going to be different. And you have to reset expectations accordingly.
But that being said, Justin, he's also 23. I agree with that completely.
Yeah.
But just kind of counter argument.
He is an older rookie.
He's 23 years old. He's the same age as J-Dub.
Yep.
That's why I think maybe, there may be more opportunity for him elsewhere in a season or two.
Do you guys ever get randomly liked old tweets? You get the notification that someone liked a tweet and it's why? I got one the other day and I had tweeted a clip of Darius Baisley doing a wraparound pass to a cutting Terrence Ferguson for a dunk.
Oh man.
And like all the comments were like, dude, that was incredible. Like I'm watching this clip on repeat. And like that just took me to a different place. Like we're in a very different place in our Thunder fandom than we were the day that I tweeted that clip. Like that's what we were feeding off of. Look where we're at now.
Kind of crazy to think that was only what 3
It's
seasons
not that
ago?
long ago.
4 seasons ago. That's wild.
Not that long ago.
Not that long ago. We've also totally been spoiled by rookies on the scene.
Right. Yep.
Chet and J-Dub, and then
Kaysen
Kaysen Wallace and AJ Mitchell. Topic is TBD, but maybe he comes out and he's just goated. And then what do we do? I don't know.
He's gonna be freaking good. I'm just
Let
telling
me
you.
go
right
ahead
now.
and plan
He's
the
gonna be
parade
freaking
route.
good.
Nick, I'm not even
He
ready
is-
to
he is-
I don't even know what kind of takes I'm gonna have on Topic. Like I have nothing in my ammo belt right now. Well, I don't know what I'm gonna say
He's
about
like as this is gonna sound mean, as bland as Dylan Jones and AJ Mitchell are. Like AJ Mitchell, as good as he is, like he never makes like the flashy play. It's always just like, oh, that was a great drive and a hard finish, and that was a great defensive effort. Like Topic has some freaking sauce to his game, and is like he's not Luka Dončić, but he makes those kind of passes that you're like, how did you see that guy? He'll be somebody that like the casual Thunder fan watches once on a Tuesday and thinks he's like the next great European point guard. And he might be, like, we don't know, but he's going to be good.
the next great European point guard. Awesome. All right, let's take a break, and then we're gonna do a little bit of trivia. Be right back. We're back. Everybody, get out your whiteboard or other vessel of writing words down.
Really?
I do not have a whiteboard. Shocker.
You don't even have a chair, dude.
Nope, I
That's
know.
a fair point. Or your normal mic.
Silva.
Brought to you by Prairie Artisan
Yeah, what you
Ales.
sipping on tonight, Silva?
Well, thank God I'm sipping on a buzzer beater. It's delicious. It's so delicious. I had a cucumber lime Gatorade yesterday. Having a blue Gatorade beer this evening. It's excellent. And I
Living the
need more.
dream.
I need more.
I think do we think Prairie's going to come out with a third Gatorade beer or unnamed sports drink beer?
It's
I
got to
would
be
love-
Fruit Punch next, right? We've done.
I hope not.
I hope you're alluding to something you know that we don't know, but in
I
the
don't
off
know.
chance
This
that
is
you're-
pure.
Pure
This is
speculation.
Okay,
This is me
then-
trying to put this out in the universe so that Adam listening to this picks
Yes.
up on it and says, "You
Then-
know what we need? We need the Glacier Cherry beer." Because
Well, that's the better question. It's not
white
will
one?
they come out with a
Yes.
third. The question is, what should the flavor be?
white cherry, no contest.
My vote would be anything but red.
That's my name
Maybe
on my
purple.
biography.
Purple
Ooh,
Gatorade would be
yeah.
sick.
I
What's that
cannot
like?
tell you the last time I had a purple Gatorade.
Well, not just
Oh, boy.
grape, but like
My
the,
age was probably single digits.
the light purple. I know what you're talking about. I like that.
The lean.
No, that's not beer, brother.
You can call it that.
You can call that whatever you want. Right. All right, we have two.
Am I the
questions.
only one with a whiteboard? All right.
I have one, but I'm gonna be asking you the
Well,
question.
It's not going to help tonight.
Can't help you there. Okay, I just came up with.
I
A
also don't
question
have paper.
in my head.
But I do have a phone on 2% now that I can write on. So,
That's good.
but my virtual background, you won't be able to see my answer. I don't think so. We'll see.
The wheels are
great.
falling off.
This is
This
great.
is a professional
2%.
program we're running here.
Uh,
All right, our guy Rob Baird submitted 2 questions. We'll start with those, and I'll give you mine afterwards.
Okay.
Question number 1. Aaron Wiggins became the 5th OKC player to knock down at least 8 triples in one game. Who are the other 4?
ooh.
4 players that hit at least 8 threes in a single game.
We have to write down 4 names.
Yes,
It's a lot of names.
it is.
Eek.
E. I never know what to do in the time while you guys are answering questions. Hey, new Captain
I'm
America
locked in.
movie is out this week. How about
I'm
that?
locked in.
Do the Jeopardy sound, or what is it? The instrumental?
Watching Paddington in Peru on Friday. Who's with me? Those movies are sick.
I don't know what that is.
You ready?
You don't know Paddington, Taylor?
Like the
Unbelievable.
bear?
Yeah, the bear.
Buddy, the bear.
These movies are
He's a
elite.
national treasure. All right. I think
Show
I'm
me your
ready.
answer.
I said Joe. That's the only one I feel confident about. Abrinas KDPG.
Taylor has Russ, KD, Kevin Martin. Damn, what a throwback. And
That is a
Ludor.
good pull.
And then Nick has
No
Joe,
idea.
KDPG, and
Anthony Morrow.
Oh, that's a good pull too.
all right. It is Isaiah Joe, Paul George, Russell Westbrook,
Oh,
and Dennis Schroeder.
oh,
Schroeder.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yes.
Would
Oh,
not
yeah,
have come
one.
up with Schroeder.
No.
Man.
I thought about Russ. Wow, Morrow. That was a good pull. Morrow had a
that
stretch.
was.
Yes. All right. Next one. This is more of a rhetorical question. Theoretical question.
How do we rank?
Rhetorical.
I'm sorry. This
What
is
was
a
the most-
trivia.
Impactful transaction announced from trade deadline's final day.
Final
The-
day.
Is there a correct answer?
There is. According to Rob, there is.
Final day. Trying to think. I there were so many trades. I'm like trying to think through them all. I'm assuming Rob's getting at that there was a draft pick traded that affects the Thunder, and I can't think
Who
of what
knows?
it is.
Who knows?
I know the answer.
Are we ready?
I'm ready.
I think I'm just gonna pass on this one, honestly.
The correct answer is Chet Holmgren.
That is correct.
Oh,
I knew it.
That's not a transaction. He's got healthy.
The transaction is that he's healthy. The Thunder added a Depoy favorite center to their league best lineup.
That they
I just
did.
love that Jacob Niffin's hair has become a prominent member of the chat to the point where people are saying in the chat, I agree with Jacob Niffin's hair.
Without context, that's amazing.
Yes.
I also agree with Jacob Niffin's hair.
All right. Here's my question to you all. There are 5 players averaging more than 10 points per game on the Thunder. 3 of them, pretty dang obvious. SGA, J-Dub, and Chet. Who are the other 2?
Say it again.
There are 5 players on the Thunder averaging more than 10 points per game. 3 of them are obvious. It's SGA, J-Dub, and Chet. Who are the 4th and 5th? This is what it's all about.
That's tough.
It actually
A
is.
lot of
tough.
options.
Yes.
It actually is tough.
Very close. Very close.
Yeah, I bet there's a lot right on the cusp.
Yep.
Right on the cusp. All right, I have an answer.
I have an answer too.
Okay. Taylor, you ready?
Ready?
All right.
I said Dort and Hart.
That's what I said too.
Oh, I was thinking that, but I went ahead and went with Wiggins.
Taylor says Wiggins and Hartenstein. That is correct.
Oh,
Bang!
And it is so close. Lou Dort is 9.8.
Oh,
Oh.
my gosh.
And
I
Isaiah
knew it was
Joe
going to
is
be close like that.
9.7.
Wow.
What's Wiggins at?
Wiggins is 10.6. And that
A
must
41-point game helps.
Yeah,
Yeah.
helps a
Helps
lot.
the old average.
Does-
Since you came up with this
Sidebar,
one, I figured it was gonna be Wiggins related.
If we were, given we were a former Thunder and Pop Culture podcast, a quick pop culture moment.
That's crazy. The Zeitgeist.
For
Throwback.
a
If
hot
we-
minute.
If we were in Severance, Silva would be Mr. Milchick.
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
that
Yes.
is
I don't know if I should be offended
delightful.
by that or not.
No, I love that, but you're wrong. Silva's
No.
100% Dylan G.
Yes.
Oh, that's
Yes,
a good
that's a
point.
great
That's a
one.
great point.
I get given
That's
a,
a
That's a
good one. I
great
think
point.
Nick is Mr. Milchek.
I get gifted a
Oh.
portrait of Egan, except he's Mexican.
Yes.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Oh,
Hey.
my.
Lights.
Oh, that's good.
Lights.
That's so good.
I'm so glad we're all caught up.
What a
so
show.
we can enjoy that joke.
What a
Top
show.
tier. Top
All
tier.
right. One more little break here, and then we're just gonna freestyle about the NBA. There's a lot of stuff going on in the wider NBA, so we're gonna go around the association. We'll be right back. We're back, and it's time to play a sounder we have not heard in a while. After I change our little lower third here. Okay, here we go.
I don't even know where you're sitting at.
All right, fellas, I have just a few questions to ask you all, and you guys feel free to bring up whatever you want that's going on around the association. Also, Justin, first question's for you. Zion has a goatee. Is Butt Rock back?
That implies it ever left, Silva. Zion has a lot of things going on.
I don't understand him anymore. His look.
He's playing basketball, which is a good start.
That's an improvement.
Step one.
That's about it.
I think
he was
he's
not
been
great
hanging.
tonight.
He's been hanging around JRE too much.
You're right. I forgot he was. Yeah.
JRE probably turned him on to Godsmack, and the rest is history.
Good point. Good point.
Oh my God. Yeah. Zion. Is he washed? He hasn't played much of the season, but I don't know.
He's had some
He's
solid
really good when he
performances.
plays, but
I feel like he hasn't grown offensively at all since he.
Yeah. Well, it's tough when
When you're not playing.
Oh my
Exactly.
it's tough. Yeah, it's tough to develop when you don't have time on the court. That is an important factor to development.
Dust Bunny 33 says lost child, and then the next one big child. I don't know what that means.
Read the next comment, Silva.
No. I won't do that. Taylor, got a question for you. Anthony Davis has a adductor strain. Does that mean he hurt his balls?
No, I that'd be a growing injury.
Oh,
right?
what?
A growing. Growing.
Oh, what?
It's not. I hope it's not growing.
That's awesome.
Oh, Taylor.
That's
That
awesome.
goes up there with the Chili's.
It does.
Taylor would be the worst injury doctor ever. You avoided the
I just wanna
growing injury,
read.
but you hurt your Achilles.
At some point during the offseason, I'm just going to go through popular NBA injuries and just read them off
That's
line by
awesome.
line.
What was Chet's formal designation? What kind of wing was it?
Oh God.
I don't even know.
Oh,
Taylor.
man.
Elvis?
Google it and read it to us in a little bit.
That's awesome. The Mavs. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
It's getting
And
worse.
then Gafford got hurt during the Thunder game. Or
Yeah,
while we were watching the Thunder game, the Mavs were playing
Yeah.
against the Kings and it got hurt
that's brutal.
real bad.
Brutal for the Mavs.
They're calling it a knee sprain, but it didn't look great.
And
They lost in devastating fashion tonight.
they're just no one's ever lost the PR war as hard as the Mavs are currently losing the PR war. Like they're not
Dude.
showing fans on the camera, and when they did tonight, the guy said, "Fire Nico,"
And then got
threw him out.
escorted out.
That
threw
was
him out.
stupid.
That's
That's
so
so
dumb. He paid
soft.
for the
Dictatorship.
tickets.
Right. He didn't even cuss or say anything.
Go to a Cowboys game and listen to the Jerry Jones commentary. You'd have to kick out the whole stadium.
Seriously.
Yep.
Yeah, that's insane. It's a masterclass in how not to handle a crisis as an organization. It's ugly, and it's not going to get better anytime soon, especially if AD's hurt. Like the first quarter, that AD played and looked awesome, it was like, all right, Nico Harrison owes AD a bonus like on the spot for making people see the vision. And then you get hurt and people were seeing other visions. It's not good.
Are they going to make the playoffs?
I'm just seeing pelvic fracture, Nick. I'm not coming across anything else.
It's in the chat. Go scroll up and read it to us.
I know. I can't tell you. I know what it is, but I can't tell you because I want you to pronounce it.
I wanted to say celiac.
Which of our chats? We have so many chats. We have text.
Celiac. He's allergic to gluten.
It starts with an I, buddy. And there's like 4 comments in a row that say it.
Oh, iliac?
Okay.
Well done.
Yeah.
What'd you think I was going to say?
Lilac.
Who
That's
knows?
an easy one.
I didn't think that groin was going to be hard, but here we are.
That was a nice surprise. The Mavs are 8th right now, 28 and 26. Are they going to make the playoffs? AD's out for a month.
Not if he's out for an extended period.
Yeah, surgery, it's going to be longer than a month.
Yeah.
True.
I think a month is like the best case, probably.
Dude.
Win now, move though.
Yeah, that window just gets shorter.
Meanwhile, the Lakers are up 21. Luka's only taken 8 shots. It's not even halftime.
Wow.
Out there warming up the Serbian music in the crypto arena.
Yeah.
What a time.
What a time.
We're going to have Serbian night there now.
Yeah, they are.
Are they going to stop having it in Dallas?
I would assume so.
Of course.
No more Serbian night.
Dirk showed up to the Lakers game to watch Luka's debut instead of the Mavs game, which is pretty telling.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Not a great time for Dallas sports. Outside the Rangers, who I guess are fine. And the Stars, right? My Dallas Stars are fine.
Oh, yeah, Slovenian, not Serbian. That was a whiff.
Nice one, everybody.
That's just
that sounds like a meme.
It's as bad as growing.
Nick, question for you. Who's the second best team in the West?
Well, by record, there's a factual answer, but I don't think that's where you're going with this. You're not going to love this answer, and I'd love to hear some pushback. Despite the canceled trade, I still think the Lakers have a real argument, and not regular season good. But I think when you think about the second best team or the first best team, it's like who has the best chance in the playoffs. I'm telling you, like playoff Braun, playoff Luka, they're not going to have a center, but you do not want to see them. You do not.
Maybe they will, because apparently the Shams had a tweet saying that the Hornets are like going to dispute the Lakers.
It's already awkward. Don't make it more awkward.
I know. Dalton Connect didn't play tonight because of it, quote unquote, personal reasons. It's a mess.
Unveil him.
It's an absolute mess. I don't think the Grizzlies are the second best team in the West.
I don't think the Rockets are up there. I think it's either Nuggets or Lakers to me.
Yep.
It's like if the team has the best player in the series or has a chance of having the best player in the series, that's kind of it. Like Luka could be the best player in the series, and Jokic could be the best player in the series.
That can win you a playoff series, right? And then you just need someone else to, like Austin Reeves, to go insane for a couple games and steal a couple that you probably shouldn't have won. Like that's all it. Unfortunately, the margins are razor thin in the playoffs. That
I saw that last year. PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford. Like
let us not forget the centers of Luka's past that he's made look like they're a heck of a lot better than they really are.
Yeah,
I agree. The Lakers have no centers, but like Jackson Hayes might get a damn contract this summer from somebody because of Luka.
Yeah,
that's a good point too.
A hell of an achievement.
I was thinking about it tonight because I saw somebody sharing around a screenshot of, I think it was Basketball Reference, where it shows like what's the best possible record this team could have. In Oklahoma City, it's like, yeah, they could just go 72-9. Like they might not lose again, which is an absurd statement.
What's more absurd is thinking about the fact that the Warriors did that. As good as the Thunder has been, would have to go undefeated to do it too.
Did that and then lost.
Yeah, totally.
In the finals in dramatic fashion to LeBron. So like, to your point, that's what made me think of it, is like, to your point, that Cleveland roster was not better, but they had the star power to step up and snatch 3 games in a row and win that series against a team that looked unbeatable for most of the season.
Yeah.
And that could very much be the case for Oklahoma City. Like it's so tough to translate regular season success to postseason success, especially when a team like the Thunder has so much regular season success. Anything less, it feels like anything less than a championship is going to feel disappointing. Whether or not that's fair to feel that way, like at this point with the number of games the Thunder won, it's going to feel like a disappointment. Anything less than a chip.
Yeah.
But the reality is, even with this much regular season success, it's still really hard. And a team like LA, with the star power they have, with a team like Denver, with the experience they have, with the star power they have, the way they're gelling with the Russell Westbrook renaissance, like whatever it is, that
if Jamal Murray turns it around, all of a sudden it's like, oh,
it could take you out. It could take you out, and it'd be super disappointing. But that's just the playoffs.
I keep thinking about that with the Cavs as well. Like they just absolutely destroyed the Wolves tonight. A similar situation, we can't just lock in a Cavs Thunder finals, as fun as that would be.
Yeah, it's not how it works. When has it ever worked that way?
Yep.
Never.
You guys know who? Like, you know what team would be really good in the West? Probably the second best team behind the Thunder. The Dallas Mavericks with Luka Dončić.
That would have been my answer. That would have been my answer 2 weeks ago. Is like a healthy Dallas.
Yeah.
Would have been it. And now.
Patience.
Now look at him. Anything else about what's going on around the NBA now? The Warriors are going to be annoying. Jimmy just going to draw
shoot free throws all game. Exactly.
Steph's going to bomb away. Steph had 38 tonight, and Jimmy shot 15 free throws.
And only had a couple field goals outside of the free throws.
Yeah, he was 4 of 12.
I'm still not super moved by them. Like I think they could certainly win a playoff series, but I'm not super moved by them.
Yeah,
it's a similar thing to me to the Lakers, where they just have the star upside, even though they're older stars, and they could just maybe make some magic happen in a playoff series. But I don't think they would have enough to go all the way.
Steph's always a threat.
Yeah,
as we saw the last time the Thunder played.
Good point.
I think that the primary difference is Steph has the threat. Jimmy is a playoff performer. Yep. Even Bron's a playoff performer, but Luka is a current playoff superstar. Right. I know we bashed on him in Dallas, but if you look at his numbers, it's like all-time shit what he does in the playoffs from a statistical standpoint. It's nuts.
And I agree with all that, but just coming back full circle, what's been most impressive to me about this recent stretch from the Thunder, all these teams, we call it the dog days of the NBA season, because you're basically just kind of limping to the finish line with injuries and just grinding out, back-to-back games in the middle of February, heading into the All-Star break. And this Thunder team still continues to impress, blows teams out, 5 or 6 games now by double-digit points, most of those by 20 points. And their depth and versatility is just on full display. And so that's why I think, even though they're inexperienced in the playoffs, come playoff time, when you have that depth and that experience and that versatility, that's going to shine a lot more than just relying on a Luka and LeBron to carry you for a 7-game series.
I agree. All right. Anything else? Or do you want to get the hell out of here? Wait. Predictions.
Wait.
Oh, yes. Predictions.
Forgot about those.
Oh, God.
I need to pull
So
up the
close.
schedule.
I'm bringing it up right now.
Who's hosting this show?
I know. What the hell? Where's Jacob? Okay. Games of the week. Let's do some predictions. New Orleans, can't do that prediction anymore.
That's a wash.
We've got Miami on Wednesday at 7:00. What do we have there, fellas?
Give me the dub.
I'll go ahead and do my money ball.
My money ball is Pelicans, so
Nick, that's not allowed.
that's my money ball is Mavs. Or I'm sorry, Miami.
I'm gonna go W there also, and then they play against Minnesota Thursday.
First of three.
First of Jesus.
That's
3 and
crazy.
4 games against Minnesota.
That's great.
Crazy.
A little playoff series there.
Little mini rivalry is going to bet on social media. I guarantee it. There's probably
Home and
someone named
away
Prime
after the
Ant
All-Star
break.
season that's going to
You
be
get
on your mentions. So
Last game before the
Ant
All-Star
used.
break. Last game before the All-Star break, and then coming hot right out of the break. You get them twice, home and away, back to back.
That's fun though, because both teams will
Those
be on
little
the
series
Sega
are
Baba,
fun.
and
Yeah,
both teams will have to travel. So that's interesting.
it's true.
Minnesota is like the John Hamm, I don't think about you at all team for me this year.
I love that.
That's a fun segment.
I love that.
Yeah.
Um,
Minnesota, shit, I'll go first. Give me the W. The last game before the All-Star break.
Yep. So is that your money ball? Because it has to be.
Kind of you know what I was doing when I was reading this was like, oh, these games are all in order. It's the same week. I guess it is. That's my money ball. Minnesota money ball. How about that? Then that-
There it is. I also am taking a win and a money ball against Minnesota.
then that one.
Go ahead and give me the W.
Dub.
The anticipation.
Oh God.
A lot of haters in the chat waiting for me to say L.
Well, you know, Nick, you're learning.
I mean,
I-
statistically, just bet this team to win every game.
Correct.
And you're gonna win this game. So
Except it's too late to embrace that strategy because Jacob has a healthy lead on all of us.
Yeah, it's kind of Jover.
funny how Jacob runs the scoring system and
Isn't
always
it?
has the biggest lead to everyone.
Yeah.
I agree. We need an audit.
That's right.
Jacob Niffin's hair should audit Jacob Niffin.
Only right.
I like it third party.
But is it third party or is it first party?
That's a good point.
It's a good question.
I like to picture Jacob Niffin's hair controlling Jacob like a Ratatouille type of situation.
Ooh, Jacob Niffin's hair. Can
under,
we get
under that beanie that he wears?
next week's graphic? Can we get a Ratatouille on top of Jacob, and it's like him peeking out of a beanie? That would be amazing.
Oh my God.
That's
It's a
amazing.
goated movie.
All right, it's time to get the hell out of here. We'll be back Wednesday. Let's break down the game against Miami. And then Thursday against Minnesota. I don't know who has that post game.
Minnesota.
Then it'll be the All-Star break. That'll be cool. We'll see some. I don't know what the hell to expect from J-Dub during the All-Star game, but maybe we'll have a nice dunk or something. Some screaming. I don't know.
Might get some new shoes from Shea based
Yes.
on the Converse teasers.
Yes. It'll be fun. All right. Thanks for listening as always. Thanks for hanging out with us in the live stream. Check out our Patreon. Scan this here QR code or click the link in the description. See you next time. As always, adios and Thunder up.